Gentlemen, welcome to the September 2nd, 2014 Chino City Council meeting. If you'll all rise and join me in the flag salute, please. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Have a seat. Under ceremonials, National Childhood Obesity Awareness Month, September 2014. I'd like to call up Claudia Benitez, Healthy Chino Community Service Supervisor, Healthy Niños, Zaharia Arioli, Nurse Practitioner, Norma Archiaga, if I got that right. Hey, Healthy Niños Specialist, if they all come up forward, please. Ladies, welcome. The proclamation we'd like to read. Whereas September 2014 marks the 5th annual National Childhood Obesity Awareness Month, and whereas the City of Chino, along with its community partners, the Chino Valley Unified School District, the Chino Valley YMCA, and the Focus on Youth Collaboration, work to prioritize the health and well-being of Chino's children by supporting programs such as Healthy Chino, Chino Walks Kids, Family Fitness Days, Tykes Fit and Fun, and Healthy Niños. And whereas the City of Chino works in conjunction with Youth Sports League to provide space for physical activities and team sports for children in the community. And whereas during the past 4 decades, obesity rates in the United States have soared among all age groups. and whereas, that's not funny, obese children have an 80% chance of being obese adults and are more at risk for associated adult chronic diseases that include heart disease, type 2 diabetes, and stroke. And whereas participating in physical activity is important for children and teens, as it can have beneficial effects, not only on body weight, but also blood pressure, bone strength, and mental well-being. And whereas proper nutrition is important for youth and it impacts their physical and mental health, body weight, and is important in the prevention of chronic diseases. Whereas childhood obesity is preventable, yet does not appear to be declining. Now, therefore, I, Dennis Yates, Mayor of the City of Chino, do hereby proclaim the month of September 2014 as National Childhood Obesity Awareness Month. I'd like to present that to you. Comments?
Thank you very much. The City of Chino, Healthy Chino program, as well as the Healthy Niños program, is very excited to work towards a obesity-free community. So we thank you very much for this proclamation, and we're also very excited to announce that this year we will be celebrating our 10-year anniversary for the Healthy Chino program. Yes, 10 years. And we're going to go ahead and kick it off at this year's Christmas parade. So we hope that you are all there, and we're very excited.
Thank you, Bel Niños.
We've had a really nice collaborative relationship with the city, between the school district and the city, and we look forward to continued collaboration and serving the children in our community. So thank you very much.
As a partner, so you're doing a great job. Congratulations, ladies. Would you like to say anything?
Yeah, thank you.
You just give me go sit down before you fall down. Oh, you want a picture? Boom, 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 boom. National Recovery Month, September 2014. I'd like to call up Michelle Cheng, Clinical Specialist, Community Services Department, Vicki Bombach, Program Manager, Department of Behavioral Health, Alcohol, and Drug Service of San Bernardino County. That's quite a tag. You must have a huge name tag. Ladies. And the proclamation reads, whereas the City of Chino is pleased to join the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the County of San Bernardino Department of Behavioral Health in recognizing September 2014 as National Recovery Month in Chino. And whereas treatment and mental health services can enable those with a substance addiction, a mental disorder, to live a healthy and rewarding life, and applauds the accomplishments of individuals in recovery and those who support them. And whereas alcohol and drug addiction is a major public health threat in the United States that affects millions of Americans of all ages, race, and ethnic backgrounds, and creates enormous medical, societal, and economic costs. And whereas family, hi, glad you could make it. I'm telling Al you're late. Whereas the city of Chino works closely with the Chino Valley Unified School District to offer teen and youth counseling and Project Alert, a drug prevention educational program for junior high students. Now, therefore, I, Dennis R. Yates, Mayor of the City of Chino, do hereby proclaim the month of September 2014 as National Recovery Month. We'd like to present that to you. Say a few.
Thank you, Mayor Yates and members of the City Council for your continued support of community services programs. Once again, I live in a community where we do support a lot of prevention and intervention programs and counseling programs that affect a lot of the people. And whether or not you have substance use, mental health disorders, or support someone who has that, we do have programs and treatments that are very effective to assist you in having a rewarding life. And tonight we have Vicki Bombach from the County of San Bernardino as one of our partners with our PC 1000 program, and she will share with us some of the statistics that we've had over the year.
Great.
Thank you. Congratulations on behalf of the County of San Bernardino Department of Behavioral Health. We are eternally grateful to have your program in the city of Chino. And I did bring my stats like I do every year, but I'm going to throw them out. All I want to say is that their program plants a lot of seeds and they grow gardens. And because of that, there were 85% of their population successfully completed last year and diverted from higher levels of treatment and at a tremendous cost savings to the county, the city, and everybody involved in it. You've saved a lot of money in diversion of treatment needs based on your intervention and educational services. And the County of San Bernardino loves your program. So thank you so much.
Very good. We appreciate you also partnering with the City of Chino. And these programs we offer is one of the big reasons we won the 100 Best Communities in the United States for young people is because of these programs that we offer in our community. So congratulations, you ladies. Keep up the good work. Thank you. National Preparedness Month. National Preparedness Month. September 2014, we'll call up Chris Wolf. She's our Administrative Service Manager in the Chino Police Department. Chris? Hi. I'm getting my reading in tonight. Whereas National Preparedness Month creates an opportunity for every American to learn more about ways to prepare for all types of emergencies from potential terrorist attacks to natural disasters. And whereas all citizens have a responsibility to contribute to their own safety and security as part of the larger effort to strengthen the ability of the City of Chino community to migrate, prepare, respond to, and recover from unexpected emergencies and disasters as part of a broader campaign of national preparedness. And whereas all Chino residents are asked to make preparedness a priority in their homes by tapping into the resources already available to them, making themselves resilient to disaster by taking steps to prepare, now including assembling important emergency supplies, creating a family communication plan, learning how to work with your neighbors, and volunteering to help your community, to help make citizen preparedness a priority in this community. Whereas all Chino residents and businesses are encouraged to register for Chino Notifies, the city's mass notification system that provides both emergency community alert information and can be sent to any electronic device. And whereas the federal, state, and local governments and the private sector are working together to prevent and respond to all types of emergencies. These activities, along with the vigilant public, contribute to a level of state and national preparedness that is critical to securing our state and the homeland. And whereas the citizens of Chino should join with the citizens across the nation to ensure we have taken the necessary actions, including assessing all available disaster preparedness information located at such websites as ready.gov, redcross.org, and chinocity.org. Now, therefore, I, Dennis Yates, Mayor of the City of Chino, do hereby proclaim the month of September to be National Preparedness Month, and that the City of Chino will continue to participate in efforts that we ensure we have an integrated disaster response capability so all city and county emergency responders and the general public can work together effectively. We'd like to present you that. Chris, a few words.
Thank you, Mayor and members of council. We just want to take this opportunity to remind our residents and our businesses within our community that we are counting on them to get prepared, and we'll do whatever we can to help support that effort, but we want people to recognize their own responsibility. And we've got a great partnership already with lots of our businesses and emergency responders, and we want to encourage our citizens to get prepared as well. So thank you very much.
One more time. Everybody thinks that we have a disaster or something, that the Chino PD and Fire District will be there and within a half an hour to help you. Well, that's not true. That's not going to happen. They should keep, what, a week or 2 weeks of food and water?
It used to be the minimum was 3 days, and we learned after Katrina that was
Right.
not
Right.
realistic. So 5 to 7 days, or as much as you can store.
Okay, that's always good. And also participate with your neighbors. You can help each other in
Right.
locating people and have a central meeting place. So
Right.
we live in earthquake country, and I've been around here my whole life, and I've been in some whoppers, and the next one could be in 5
That's
minutes
right.
or
That's
5
right, we
days.
never know.
So be prepared.
Right. And I'd also just like to add to sign up for Chino Notify. That is our way of communicating to you, our residents and businesses, so please take the time to do that. It's a free service. You can sign up to get messages on any electronic device that you have, and it's a great way for us to be in touch with you as to what's going on.
Even I get notified. I'm signed up too,
That's
so
right.
it's a great program. Thank you, Chris. You keep up the good work. Now, some fun. We're going to present a certificate of achievement to the 2014 USATF National Junior Olympics track and field champion in the boys 11 to 12 years old division high jump. We'd like to call up Michael Stein, and if your family's with you, Michael, bring them on up too. We're calling up Michael, the champion. I'm going to read some of this. Mike is one of the hardest working individuals that we have in Chino, and we are happy to recognize him for all his accomplishments he received in the past July at the 2014 USATF National Junior Olympics Track and Field Championships in Texas. Michael made Chino proud by becoming the national champion for the 11-12 division high jump with a personal record of 1.6 meters. I hate that. How tall is that? That's good. He also achieved second place in the mini javelin throw, an event with a distance of 46.7 meters. How far is that? You know, and took third in the discus event with a distance of 35.41 meters, however far that is. We are very proud of Michael, and as mayor of the city of Chino, I'd like to congratulate Michael for his hard work and great success, and we look forward to seeing that you will accomplish more in the future, Michael. And we have a certificate to recognize your accomplishment. Michael Stein, you are to be commended for your hard work and dedication. Congratulations on your achievement of being the 2014 USATF National Junior Olympics Track and Field Champion in the high jump. We'd like to present that to you.
Thank you.
Yeah, give me that. There you go. And you want to introduce, is this your brother?
Yeah.
Why don't you introduce your brother and your mom?
All right. This is my brother Maximilian.
Hey, Max.
He is 5 years old. He just started his first week of kindergarten at Lido Elementary.
All right.
And then this is my mother, Milo. Big thanks to her. She took me out to Texas and encouraged me to do my best throughout the whole week we were there.
Well, you're there for a whole week, huh?
Yeah.
Wow. Whereabouts in Texas was it?
Houston.
Houston. Ooh, big town, huh? Yeah. Well, that's great. And you're on the Pumas Track Club, correct?
Yes, sir.
Well, the Pumas is the youth track club here in the city of Chino. If you've been around here for at least a year or two, everybody knows it's Grandpa Ortiz that runs that. And I've been announcing the all-comers meet now for 25 years or something. And I met Grandpa 30-something years ago, and he still looks the same. I got all gray and everything, and he still looks the same. But he didn't make it here this evening. But Grandpa's dedicated his whole life to the youth in our community in track and field. So we're privileged to have people like him in the community that donate their time. Well, we want to congratulate you and keep up the good work. And maybe we'll see the Olympics. Yeah, because we have two Olympians that grew up in Chino. Diane Taurasi from Don Lugo High School, basketball. She won about 3 gold medals now in the Olympics. And my mind just went blank. The softball player from Leo O'Brien, thank you. from Don Lugo softball. She's won 2 or 3 gold medals. We need a guy to go out there and win us one, okay? All right, congratulations. Yeah, Leah got married and changed her last name or something. I can't remember her name. Next is Mayor's Home Beautification Award for September 2014. And the winner this month is Lynn Johnson on Falcon Place here in Chino. Lynn, is she here? Oh, there she is. Oh, he? We have a picture up on the screen of a beautiful home. And we'd like to present this picture of your home.
Thank you. Nice.
And we have a little certificate for Lynn Johnson. Thank you for the continued improvement and maintenance of your home, resulting in a substantial contribution to the overall appearance of our community.
All right.
We're proud of your home. We have a lapel pin, like the one I'm wearing here, official.
All right.
We have a pen and pencil. And we'd like to, there you go. We'd like to offer you to put this in your yard as the winner of September 2014. And you're running out of hands. Who does all the yard work?
I like to say myself, but I have a good gardener.
You do?
Him and myself.
Oh, you do a lot of supervising, right?
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah. How long have you been in Chino?
We moved here in 1990.
Well, that's been a while then.
We've been here a while.
24 years, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you have a beautiful home, and it adds to our community when people do that. And we're awful proud to have you in our city with your nice home. And next year, at the State of the City, we'll pick one of the 12 winners as the home of the year. And we invite you to lunch at the State of the City. We give you a little certificate and some goodies from Home Depot. Oh, so we look forward to everybody doing as well as you do in your home. It's beautiful. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Next is public communication. We have to call up Joe McNarsney of Calvary Chapel, Chino Valley, to do the invocation. Pastor Joe. I would like to invite everyone who wishes to address the sick to do their stand, please, for the invocation if they'd like.
Let us pray. Father, I praise you for the wonderful privilege and honor that we have been given to come before you in prayer. First, I'd like to thank you, Father, for the people that live in our city, and I do ask you that you please keep them safe tonight. I lift up this meeting before you, Father, and just ask you that you will grant everyone wisdom to make the right decisions concerning the items that are upon the agenda. Lord, I lift this up before you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor. Now, under public communication, anybody in the audience wish to address the council on any item that does not appear on the agenda may do so now. I have no written requests. Then we'll close public communications. Next is the consent calendar. Anybody wishing to pull anything for discussion? We have none. We have a motion from Councilman Elrod, seconded by Mayor Pro Tem Duncan. Please vote.
Hey, I need to pull the minutes. I was absent.
Oh, I'm sorry. We'll have to address items 1, 3, 4, and 5 because Councilman Mayor Pro Tem Duncan was absent. We'll have to do item 2 separately. This will be for the remainder of the consent calendar. No, you should have voted. You couldn't vote. You'd have
The
to.
remainder of the consent calendar.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. You're right.
Yeah.
Passes. Now, entertain a motion for item 2, the minutes of August 19th. Moved by Councilman Elrod, seconded by Councilmember Ulloa. Please vote. 4 approved and Mayor Pro Tem Duncan abstaining. Under public hearings, prior to the vote of the City Council, any member of the audience will have the opportunity to address the council on any items listed under public hearings, and you're reminded you have 5 minutes for your presentation. Item 6, introduction of ordinance 2014-014, amending Title 1 of the Chino Municipal Code pertaining to administrative citations. Our staff report is this evening is Michael Rowe, the building official. Mike?
Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Mayor and members of the City Council. I'm presenting for your consideration tonight an ordinance which will amend Title I of the Municipal Code. The proposed ordinance will assist staff with the enforcement of the amended code items that were approved in ordinance number 2014-012. By updating the process, staff will be more accurate and efficient, allowing them to perform more daily inspections. As mentioned in July 1st report, the proposed amendments will be consistent with state law. Certain violations will continue to have correction times, such those involving construction and zoning violations. Other violations, such as public nuisances, threats to health and safety and welfare, will be eligible for citations immediately. In most cases, the code staff is able to obtain compliance for a violation through the issuance of a warning or a notice and not having to issue a citation. Staff will continue to work with the violators, and reasonable extensions may be granted to allow the violations to be corrected. The provisions to appeal an administrative citation will remain unchanged. All of the proposed changes have been discussed with the city attorney, the prosecuting attorney, the police department, and the business license division. In conclusion, staff recommends the City Council conduct a public hearing, approve the introduction of ordinance number 2014-014 to be read by number and title only, and to waive further reading of the ordinance. This concludes my report, and I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Thank you. Prior to council questions or comments, I'll open the public hearing. Anybody in the audience wishing to address the council on this item may do so now. Seeing none, we'll close public comment. Council, any comments? We have a motion by Councilman Howie, seconded by Mayor Pro Tem Duncan. Please vote. Item passes unanimously. Arturo?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, thank you. This is ordinance number 2014-014, entitled as follows. An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Chino, California, amending selected provisions of the Chino Municipal Code to comply with state law and provide for efficient enforcement of municipal code violations.
Thank you, Arturo. Item 7, introduction of ordinance number 2014-016, amendment to Eucalyptus Business Park Specific Plan. Our staff report is by Christine Lovell, our principal planner. Christine?
Good evening, Mayor Yates and members of the City Council. The proposed ordinance is a city-initiated amendment to the Eucalyptus Business Park Specific Plan. When the original specific plan was adopted in 1990, the emphasis was to allow commercial land uses such as restaurants and personal services that would serve the surrounding industrial development. In 2006, as you might recall, the plan was amended to allow for the development of the Rancho del Chino Shopping Center at Ramona and Eucalyptus Avenue. However, the range of commercial uses permitted there has still been relatively limited. This proposed amendment will greatly expand the types of commercial uses that could be permitted in the specific plan by deferring to the general commercial zoning district list of permitted uses. This will provide opportunities for a broader range of commercial businesses to locate in the center, similar to other commercial centers in the city. With that, staff would recommend that the City Council adopt or approve the introduction of ordinance number 2014-016. And this concludes my presentation. I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you, Christine. Prior to council questions or comments, I'll open this public communication. Anybody wishing to address this item? Quiet group. We'll close public comment. Council, any questions? None? It's moved by Mayor Pro Tem Duncan, seconded by Councilmember Ulloa. Please vote. Item passes unanimously. Arturo?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Ordinance number 2014-016, entitled as follows. An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Chino, California, amending the Eucalyptus Business Park Specific Plan Commercial Land Use Designation, PL 14-0441, Eucalyptus Business Park Specific Plan Amendment.
Thank you, Arturo. Under new business, item 8, introduction of ordinance number 2014-017, amending selected provisions of the Chino Municipal Code. Our staff report this evening by Administrative Service Manager Chris Wolf. Chris?
Good evening, Mayor and members of council. Staff is proposing 3 adjustments to the city's municipal code, all of which are related to emergency services. The first 2 adjustments are in Chapter 2.48. Both of these adjustments are with regards to the Disaster Council / Citizen Core Council, which are found in subsection 030 and 040. First, staff recommends removing the words Citizen Core Council. In 2003, this designation was added to the city's already existing Disaster Council. At that time, cities wishing to provide such programs as the Community Emergency Response Team, Medical Reserve Corps, or Volunteers in Police Service were required to have an active Citizen Core Council to provide oversight and to make their agencies eligible for grant funding. Since then, however, this requirement has been removed. Removing the word Citizen Core Council from the municipal code does not preclude the city from offering any of these volunteer programs. The recommendation is merely for the purpose of properly identifying a single council that will have oversight over emergency services-related plans, exercises, multi-agency coordination, and community participation. In addition, staff recommends that membership for this council be limited to council members and city employees. In conjunction with this change, staff recommends simplifying the verbiage that describes the powers and duties of this council. Currently, subsection 040 details specific responsibilities for both the Disaster Council and the Citizen Core Council, defining them as 2 separate entities. By removing all references to the Citizen Core Council in subsection 030, it follows that any description of the specific function this council might fulfill also be removed. The description of the Disaster Council's power and duties has also been simplified and generalized to include oversight over all emergency services-related decisions. Lastly, staff recommends a change to Chapter 3.32 of the Municipal Code. In subsection 080 entitled Emergency Purchases, staff is recommending the language be amended to remove the $25,000 restriction currently in place. The subsection would read, quote, "In case of local emergency, the city manager may waive the approval and bid requirements of the section when in cases of actual emergencies, the life, health, or safety of employees or the general public is at risk, or when significant harm may occur to operating systems, and in the judgment of the city manager or the purchasing agent, services and/or goods may be procured immediately to prevent loss," close quote. In the event of a major emergency, it can be assumed that the $25,000 threshold will be exceeded. Amending this provision will give the city manager the ability to authorize the purchase of needed supplies or services quickly and allow our city to respond immediately to the needs of this community. All 3 of these changes are intended to clarify and streamline our city's emergency services and to ensure a more effective and efficient response to a local or regional disaster. It is staff recommendation to the council to approve the introduction of ordinance number 2014-017, amending selected provisions of the Chino Municipal Code. This is the conclusion of my report, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Chris. Prior to council questions or comment, I'll open this for public comment. Anybody in the audience wishing to address the council on this item may do so now. Still quiet out there. We'll close public comment. We have a motion by Councilmember Howe.
I'm down to speak.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I just have a question on the waiving of the $25,000. There's no limit to what he can spend. Is that in case there's nobody on the council that can respond to it, or why would we want to change it in this case only, is I guess my question.
My understanding is it would be just for an emergency situation. I believe we've come across this in recent, with the water and so forth, that we would need to make an emergency purchase immediately and not have that cap of the $25,000.
But we've always been able to get that done fast, you know, in case of the water or anything. We've always been able to get it, act on it very fast. Even with the shooting up there, when we needed extra funding, we had that done. The mayor responded very quickly to it. So if we're not around, I don't have a problem, and it goes to the city manager. But I think
the way that the code currently reads, it just says I cannot exceed $25,000, period. And in my previous experience, I had an emergency where I needed to let contracts out that exceeded more than $100,000, and I would have had to wait. I mean, certainly we can probably assemble the council. That's not a problem, but we had to issue those contracts right away to remedy the situation. In all likelihood, I'd bring it back to the council and ratify and explain what exactly I had done, but it'd be rare occurrences in which I would request to exceed that $25,000.
Well,
It's more of a timing issue. If it's a significant emergency, that's really the only incident where I'd be asking to exceed that $25,000.
I guess maybe the wording maybe could be different or something to where if the mayor's not available or the mayor pro tem, but I mean, we've never been in a situation where, let's say, you have to award contracts and nobody's there to approve it.
I feel comfortable with them, amending that code section to include, the mayor or a council member's approval, so that it's not going to
I would
solo.
recommend that if we could.
Okay, that's a good idea. I'll back that. With those changes, we have a motion from Councilmember Howie and Mayor Pro Tem Duncan. Please vote. Item passes unanimously. Arturo?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. This ordinance number 2014-017, entitled as follows. An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Chino, California, amending selected provisions of the Chino Municipal Code that pertain to emergency services and emergency procurement.
Thank you, Arturo. Item 9, Host Town Special Olympic World Games Los Angeles 2015. Our report by our city manager, Mr. Ballantyne.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and members of the council. We're going to start with a brief video presentation.
Program is extremely important to the Special Olympics athlete because it gives them an opportunity to come in a couple of days ahead of time and to acclimate to the local culture, to the local climate, to get to know some people, to make some friends, establish some relationships, and be at their best when they're ready to compete on a worldwide scale. Being able to understand better and having the people, the local citizens, understand better about people with intellectual disabilities.
So in July of 2015, Los Angeles will host the Special Olympic World Games. The planning committee is seeking to have Southern California communities volunteer to host delegations for 3 days prior, as noted in the video. And this will allow athletes and coaches to acclimate to the region prior to the event. The host town would be committed to supporting a delegation, which would include providing room and board and the use of athletic facilities. The planning committee has requested the cities of Chino and Chino Hills partner in hosting a delegation, which is approximately 100 athletes. Cal Poly Pomona has agreed to provide dormitories and use of their athletic facilities. Each city would host the delegation for one evening and would commit to providing meals for the athletes and coaches. We estimate the cost to be about $7,500 for each city, and we anticipate this would be absorbed by corporate sponsors and service clubs in the Chino Valley. Staff recommends the council consider this opportunity to partner with the city of Chino Hills and jointly serve as a host town. We have representatives from the Special Olympics, Bill Bryan and Joanne Kanowski, who are present should you have any additional questions that you may have. That concludes my report.
Thank you. I'll open this for public comment. Anybody wishing to address the council on this item may do so now. Seeing none, we'll close public comment. Council? I think this is pretty cool. I had a younger brother that suffered brain damage when he was a baby. We got hit by a Greyhound bus and my mother was holding him, and he smashed on the front of the car, and so he was a special child for many years. And so I got involved and with my family, with other children with mental and physical disabilities. And where they lack in some areas, they exceed in others. My brother couldn't read or write and couldn't tell time, but he'd always had a watch. And I say, Bobby, what time is it? And he'd go like this, show it to me. And he was into electronics. His bedroom, he was living with my mom before he passed. He was fascinated. He had an account with Fry's up in Bakersfield, where he was purchasing all this radios and electronic equipment in his bedroom. And unfortunately, he passed. And my mother drove out to Fry to see what the balance was in his account. And they looked it up and said, well, Bobby bought insurance, it's paid off. So where they lack in some areas, they excel in others. And I remember when I was young, I had 9 brothers and sisters and 3 stepbrothers. And so if I had anything I wanted to hide, I'd call my brother Bobby and say, I'm going to hide this here. I'd forget where it was at. So 6 months later, and I asked my brother, where'd I put that little penknife? He goes, you're so stupid, and he'd take me right to it, you know. But he was a sweetheart too. So these programs like this touch me, and I think it would be a real privilege for our city to participate in this and do our best to accommodate these children and adults. And so I would entertain the motion from Councilman Howie and Councilmember Ulloa in approving this. Please vote. And it passes unanimously. And we look forward to working with you folks. Thank you, Matt. Now, City Council acting in its capacity as successor agency to the Chino Redevelopment Agency New Business. Item 10, approval of affordable housing loan repayment schedule. Our staff report is by our Finance Director, Mr. Rob Burns. Mr. Burns.
Good evening, Chairman and members of the Successor Agency Board. On May 1st of this year, the Successor Agency received its finding of completion from the Department of Finance. Once the finding of completion has been received, the Successor Agency can begin the process of seeking reimbursements for outstanding obligations between the city and the Successor Agency. Currently, there are 2 types of outstanding obligations between the city and the Successor Agency. First is a $2.7 million deferred set-aside obligation between the city's Affordable Housing Fund and the Successor Agency. And second are approximately $16 million in outstanding promissory notes between various city funds and the Successor Agency. Based on provisions in the Redevelopment Agency elimination legislation, any loans involving the city's Affordable Housing Fund must be repaid first. Therefore, we are seeking approval tonight for the deferred housing set-aside obligation of $2.7 million. This $2.7 million obligation arose during the early years of the RDA. When the RDA was first created, there was no 20% set-aside requirement. The California legislature then began requiring 20% set-asides in 1986. The legislature, however, granted that RDAs could defer the set-aside for 10 years if it needed to meet existing financial obligations. The Chino Redevelopment Agency ultimately deferred $2.7 million and has carried this obligation on its financial statements since 1996. Tonight's action is for you to recommend that the Oversight Board approve the repayment of this deferred set-aside obligation, and also to direct the Oversight Board to list the repayment schedule as an enforceable obligation on the next recognized obligation payment schedule. That concludes my report, and I'm available for any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Burns. Any public comment on this item? Seeing none, we'll close public comment. We have a motion by Councilman Elrod, seconded by Mayor Pro Tem Duncan. Please vote. Item passes unanimously. I chair that oversight board. Dealing with all the redevelopment dissolution is handled by the Department of Defense. Department of Defense, same difference. Department of Finance. You talk about unbelievable how dysfunctional this whole program's been to dissolve the redevelopment agencies up and down the state. And there's hundreds of lawsuits filed against the state by cities up and down the state. And I remember one time they asked us to do an audit, and we did, and we put it on the report for them to reimburse us, and they said nope. And we go, wait a minute, you asked for the audit. And you have to resubmit, and it's just, and they never made the money that they thought they were going to make when Brown took the redevelopment agency from all the city, along with our local elected representatives in the state voted to take them away too. Torres and McLeod voted to dissolve the RDAs. But what happened when they did that, all the cities were using that to build the affordable housing as required by RENA. And they didn't bother to read that part. And they still haven't resolved it, what to do about low-income housing. And so it's just an ongoing joke dealing with the Department of Finance, and it's unbelievable. Eunice?
Well, it is, and it has taken away a valuable tool from cities, especially the cities that were really active and did really good things with that money. It's taken away our ability to provide a lot of services to the public. And the state now brags they have a surplus. Well, that surplus came from the backs of cities, and they're not providing the services that we used to, and it's just a real shame. I wish people truly understood what happened when they took away RDA.
Yeah, and Brownwood and the other people up in Sacramento had their chest all puffed out of how they balanced the budget and met the deadline. Well, the reason they met the deadline is because they passed a law up there that if they didn't pass the budget on time, they wouldn't get paid. All of a sudden, ooh, we better get this done. And not only did they take the redevelopment away from the cities, they took all of the licensed vehicle fee money from the cities. And Chino, that amounted to about $300,000 a year, which we like to use in repaving the streets and what have you. So they took that all the way from the cities too, to help balance the budget, on the, as Eunice said, on the back of the cities, and drove some of them near bankruptcy.
Well, and they did not relieve any of the unfunded mandates either.
Right.
So we're still required by law to provide certain services that
like the low-income housing. Yeah.
Exactly.
It's just. But I always want to let people know that people representing us in Sacramento's are the one that did us in. And I let them know it when I see them too. So what am I doing? Oh.
Number 11.
Okay.
No, we just didn't. Yeah, number 11.
We're on number 11 now?
Yeah.
Every time I talk about this, I get crazy. Item 11, approval of draft recognized obligation payment, schedule ROPS 14-15B. This is the money we keep sending them on the RDA. Rob?
Hello again, Chairman and members of the Successor Agency Board. Staff has prepared and is presenting for your approval tonight the draft ROPS 14-15B report. That covers the period January through June of 2015. The ROPS 14-15B outlines all the outstanding obligations of the former redevelopment agency, including the item that was just passed, the $2.7 million. And this allows the successor agency to meet its enforceable obligations. The ROPS is required to be approved first by the successor agency and second by the oversight board before it's filed with the Department of Finance on or before October 1st of this year. The Oversight Board will be taking action on the ROPS 14-15B at their meeting on September 10th, 2014. So that concludes my report. I'm available for questions.
Thank you, Rob.
I have a question. I'm not sure if it's open to the floor.
Just hold on. Eunice just got a notice that a 3.7 earthquake just hit near Hemet. We're just 4 miles north of Hemet. We were just talking about that earlier.
My report wasn't responsible for that.
Yeah. I was so angry at Sacramento, I probably caused it. Now we'll open public comment. If you'd like to address this item, you have to come to the podium, ma'am, and state your name for the record.
I guess I was the only one that noticed you didn't vote on it, but that's okay.
Do what?
I never saw you guys vote on number 10, whether you were going to pass it.
Yeah, we did. We do it electronically up here.
But I hear you now, so it was passed, okay.
Oh, okay, sorry. Any other comments on item 11? We have a motion by Councilmember Howie, seconded by Mayor Pro Tem Duncan. Please vote. The item passes unanimously. Okay. So the earthquake just hit?
Yeah, that's what it said, 4 miles north of Hemet.
Ooh. 3.7.
3.7.
That's not too bad, but it's getting close to being bad. Under council and mayor reports, I'd like to encourage everyone to join the city of Chino in celebrating Mexican Independence Day on Friday, September 12th from 6:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. right here on the City Hall lawn. We don't want you to miss out on all the fun family events going on. The special ceremony El Grito, children's activities, food booths, live music, dance, a special guest performance by Mariachi Divas, and much more. We will also have the privilege of having the Mexican consulate here to give a short speech. Mayor Pro Tem Duncan.
Yes. On the 27th of August, I chaired a West Valley Mosquito and Vector Control meeting here in the council chambers. We are into the heart of West Nile virus season, so we want to encourage everybody to take care when you're out in the evening or the early morning, that you cover your arms up so that you don't become dinner for some mosquito that happens to be carrying West Nile virus. I understand that last week we had our first fatality in Southern California in Orange County. A lady died of West Nile virus, so it's really something you need to be aware of and keep in your mind when you go outside. Along that line, well, one other thing is, hope everybody's looking forward to Chino Day at the LA County Fair. That'll be on the 25th of September. If you go to the LA County Fair website, you can get tickets to go to the fair for $5 a piece. If you put in the little code box there the word Chino, then that $5 will go towards sending a child from one of our schools to the fair for Chino Day at the fair. So I know Tom and I are in charge of raising money to pay for the buses to get the kids to the fair. So we would appreciate anybody, if you're going to go to the fair anyways, go to that website and buy your ticket on there. Not only do you get a great price on the ticket, but you help send one of the kids to school. And we generally send about 5,000 kids to the fair that day. So it's really a great event, and it's great for the kids. Thank you. That's the end of my report.
Thank you. Councilman Elrod.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. On the 27th, I met with the Mill Creek developers that are in the preserve. That's the last big piece that's going to be there. It's the Stuvey family, the people, Altadena people were there. So I met with them to see how they're doing on their project out there. Then after that, Eunice and I had an infrastructure meeting that went very well. I think that'll be reported on later. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Councilmember Ulloa.
I attended the San Bernardino County Water Conference. Matt attended it also. That was on the 22nd of August. Very interesting meeting, very well attended as well. One of the most interesting speakers was a gentleman named Bill Patzer. He's an oceanographer from the Institute of Technology, NASA Jet Propulsion Lab, JPL. His speech was extremely interesting. He was very easy to understand. All kinds of information came out. But the interesting thing was that this drought that we're in, that has gotten so much publicity just in the last couple of years, we're actually in the 16th year of this drought. And it could easily last 30 years. I will attempt to, maybe you can help also, Matt, give some kind of summary that we can maybe even put on our website. But the last big drought that was 30 years long lasted between 1945 and 1975. And it's very interesting. This is actually tied to the Pacific Ocean. And he went in, he had some interesting graphs to explain how the temperature of the ocean affects weather patterns. And where everyone was hoping that an El Nino would hit this next water year, which a water year goes from October to April, the ocean is cooling down, and so he said we're not going to get the El Nino that they had hoped that would help calm this drought down. Anyway, it was just extremely interesting, the information coming forward on our reservoirs. They are very dangerously low. And again, it's so very important that we conserve. I'd like to ask Matt, when it's his turn to give a report, that if he would bring us up to date with the City of Chino's drought response plan, which is really a mandated requirement right now of all agencies that provide water. In addition to that conference, of course, I also attend quite a few meetings having to do with water supply, and drought response, and how we're planning for the future. But it's getting more and more attention, which is good on one hand, but on the other hand, we are in dire straits. So that's all I have this evening.
Thank you. Councilman Howie?
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, I'd also like to comment on Chino Day at the Fair coming up. We do send over 5,000 local Chino kids from our school district to the fair, and so if you have an opportunity to donate to that one particular day, or if you just want to make a donation to Chino Day at the Fair, you can do so. And we look forward to that day coming up in 3 weeks. It's really a lot of fun, and I know everybody's going to have a great time. That's all I've got.
Thank you. City Manager, Mr. Ballantyne.
Yes, as far as the matter of water conservation, the state did come down with mandatory requirements such as not using your hose to clean off paved areas, or making sure that you use a valve at the end of your hose if you're washing your vehicle, that it turns off the water. But the council was proactive actually in 2009, and you adopted all of those mandatory requirements. So it's really, at this point, it's public education. You should receive on your bill this month, your water bill. And on my water bill, it shows there's a note that there's a reference to the code section. So if you want to see a list of those items that are mandatory as far as conserving water, they're listed there. You can also go to our city's website, which also highlights not only what the mandatory requirements are, but additional conservation tips. We also have several agencies that assist us in that, and they even provide grants. So it's really a public education that we need to emphasize here, and we will have a new PIO on board here shortly that will assist us in that effort. But the council was proactive and initiated this back in 2009 in the city of Chino. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. City Attorney Arturo?
No report, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Karen Comstock, Captain Karen Comstock, soon to be Chief Comstock, and give us an update on the AK-47 Bandito.
Yes, sir. Good evening, Mayor Yates and members of the council. This evening, I would like to provide you with a brief update on the AK-47 Bandit investigation. As most of you know, more than 2 years ago, an armed gunman came to the city of Chino, shot and seriously injured a Chino police officer during the commission of a bank robbery at the California Bank and Trust located in the 5500 block of Riverside Drive. From that point on, the suspect was named the AK-47 Bandit, and he has subsequently robbed banks in Northern California, Washington, Idaho, and most recently Nebraska City, Nebraska. There remains a $100,000 reward for the information leading to the arrest and conviction of this suspect. As I mentioned, the suspect recently robbed a bank in Nebraska City, where this last week Chino police detectives went and worked closely with the local law enforcement officials as well as the FBI to follow up on investigative leads. During a press release this week, what I thought was interesting was a member of our local press actually asked Chief Pruitt why detectives from the Chino Police Department needed to go to Nebraska to assist with this investigation. What I'd like to explain to the public, which is important, is that to date, our detectives have the most comprehensive information and investigative timeline that is available on the AK-47 Bandit. In fact, we receive compliments from every agency that we've gone and worked with, as well as great cooperation in investigating every possible lead and making sure that no lead is left uncovered or followed up on regarding this suspect. In addition, we hold the most serious charge that this suspect will face when he is captured, and he will be captured, which is the attempt murder of a police officer, and we will bring him back here to justice. As Chief Pruitt stated, we will use every resource available to us to hunt down this man and bring him back here to Chino to stand trial for his deeds. We have been pursuing the AK-47 Bandit now for 2 years. but we couldn't do that tonight without your continued support. So tonight, again, I want the public to know that this council has been just relentless in their support of the Chino Police Department, wherever we've had to go to investigate these crimes. We thank you. I also thank you, City Manager Ballantyne, for your assistance. We couldn't do it without you. In closing, I would just like the public to know that we now have media coverage on this investigation. If you didn't watch it, it appeared on Good Morning America this morning, from the East Coast to the West Coast, talking about the manhunt for the AK-47 bandit. There is no tip that is too ridiculous or too little to give to the Chino Police Department. We have followed up on over 150 leads to date on this case, and we will continue to follow up on every single lead. We track them, we monitor them, we investigate everything. So please contact the Chino Police Department at 909-628-1234 if you have information about this case, anything. Nothing is too ridiculous, nothing is too small. Or you can contact us on the internet at bandit@chinopd.org if you'd like to reach us via the internet as well. So just thank you for your support. We appreciate it, and we will bring this man to justice.
Thank you, Captain.
Thank you.
Very good report. Anything from the fire department, Brian, Joe's, or Captain, Chief, no, nothing? Chief Shackelford? Well, thank you. Okay, we'll adjourn. Our next regular meeting of the City Council will be held on Tuesday, September 16th, 7 p.m. Closed session at 6 p.m. We stand adjourned.